how everyone's sitting quietly, I'm going to ask the team leader of every group to go get a whiteboard for your group. I'm going to ask the team leader's shoulder partner to go get a dry erase marker and an eraser. Sabrina, why don't you get the eraser and marker for your team? Isabel, so you don't get the eraser and marker for your team. I like the way team 2 is showing me they're ready to start. Okay. To start, we're going to do a showdown review. Except this is going to be a little different from how you usually do a showdown. This time, I want you to take some time to think. I want you to talk to your teammates about what the answer might be. I want you to discuss. I want you to see you talking and discussing your answers in teams. And then I'm going to ask you to show your answer, okay? So we'll start with number 1. Sabrina, will you read number 1 for us, please? Can't see it? Okay, come up here. You can come up here and read it. Niagara. Thumbs up. Jacob. Make sure the whole class can hear you. Okay, good job. So now I want you to take this time to discuss with your group members. Don't write anything yet. I shouldn't see pens up. Discuss with your group members how you're going to solve this problem. Once you've come up with an idea, you can go ahead and start working it out. I should see everybody in the group working on the same problem and the same idea because we agreed on it. I like how you're working as a team. Help each other out. How are you solving the problem? You guys all come up with the same answer as a group? Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Showdown. $442. time, everybody talk to your groups. Remember, why are you thinking this answer? Just write the letter. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Showdown. Oh. This side of the room says A, and this side of the room says B. Or G. It's F, G, H, and I. It's kind of hard to see. I would like you to go back to your boards and rethink. Maybe we can come up with an answer as a class. We know it's not H or I, right?
Yeah.
But thinking of a toothbrush. Toothbrush is pretty light, right? Think about holding your toothbrush. Sticking with the answer? Here, up here it says F, G, H, and I. If you can't see the letters though, you can just write the answer. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. That's better. We all agree the toothbrush is really light, so it's probably closer to 1 ounce than 8. Okay, let's do one more. Ashley, can you read number 4 to us, please? If you can't see it, you can come up here and read it.
The bar graph shows the number of members of some after-school clubs. Which two clubs combined have the same number of members as the craft club?
Okay, so they're saying, you can go ahead and see. They're saying which two clubs, when you combine them together, have the same number of members as the crafts club. And I don't know if you guys can see, but this up here is the crafts club. There's 8 in the crafts club, and you can see that on the graph. There's 4 in the gymnastics club, 5 in the Spanish club, and 3 in the science club. So as a group, decide which two clubs, when you combine them, have the same number of members as the crafts club. of your groups to make sure everybody has the right answer? Okay. Okay, ready to show down in 1, 2, 3. Boards up. Good job. Everybody agreed that science and Spanish. That Spanish has 5, right? How many does science have? Go ahead. How many does science have?
3.
So how did you figure that out? Sabrina, how did you figure that out? She added 5 and 3 and she got 8. Okay. The same people that got the whiteboards and got the erasers and markers, please go put them away. I think we can do this a little bit quieter, right?
Yes, the Devin was here.
Nicole, I chose yours today. Can you tell me where we find what we're learning about for the day? Where do we usually look? When we do reading, when we do science, when we do math, where do we usually look in the classroom to find out what we're learning? The daily objectives. Can you read for me the daily objective for math today?
Today we will solve problems using tables and graphs to compare.
Very good. And Chetty, can you tell me a key word, a helping word, that objective that tells us what we're going to do?
Solve problems.
And how are we going to do that?
By using tables and graphs.
Can you pick one word out of there that's going to tell you what you're going to do with those tables and graphs?
Compare.
Compare. I like that word, compare. We'll probably see it a lot today. Okay. So today you will learn how to make graphs and then compare the data in the graphs. I want you to think about this question that's up here right now. Jason, will you read the question for me?
When you have compared two different objects or a place, what help did you make a comparison?
Comparisons. Very good. So I want you to think about that. Have you ever compared two objects or two places before? Maybe you compare when you're deciding where you want to go, right? Maybe you have two restaurants and you're deciding, maybe you want to go to Applebee's or maybe you want to go to Chili's, but Applebee's has better desserts. So when you compare two different objects or places, what helps you make those comparisons? And what do you look at? And then I also want you to think about data. What helps you compare when you look at data? Think about that for a second. Use your magic buttons to show me your thinking or if you have an answer. Okay. I want you to turn to your shoulder partner and tell them what you're thinking.
I'm thinking a bar graph.
Talk to Sabrina. compare things while you're with your family, or talk about that too.
I think comparing like he uses weird
Like that. Amounts, compare the amounts, right? You and either your sibling compare who has more money in their family. I do that with my sister. I like what I'm hearing. Okay, everybody eyes up here. Ashley, I'd like you to share what you were talking about. I like that word that you were using. Everybody listen to Ashley.
I think a bar graph because it's easier to find how much amount.
I heard her use the word amounts. So she likes to compare different amounts, and she likes to use a bar graph. So a bar graph helps her compare different amounts. So maybe we'll see different types of graphs come up again, like we've been learning about. Does anybody remember those different graphs that we were working with? Turn to your face partners and tell them about the different graphs. Got them all? What about plots? Did you learn how to make, you got the plots too? Okay, so now that we've learned about all those different graphs, different plots and frequency tables, we're going to use those types of information and data organizers, and we're going to learn how to compare the information in, say, two different graphs or two different line plots. Okay? I want the team leader to take the papers from the tops of the desk and give one to each person in the team. Jordan, can you read the top part for me, starting with compare?
Compare the data shown in the bar graphs at the top of the page. Write these comparison statements about the data.
Write 3 comparison statements about the data. So what kind of data do we have at the top of the page here? Rachel? What's it give us? Is this a line plot? What does it give us? Bar graphs. It gives us 2 bar graphs. And if we read the title, Vellum. Can you tell me what the titles, the 2 titles of the bar graphs are?
Class A sandwich chosen. Class B sandwich chosen.
Okay, so the title is very important. It's telling us when they were asked what kind of sandwiches they like, these are the sandwiches that Class A chose, and these are the sandwiches that Class B chose. So we're going to write a comparison statement about the data. Can anybody give me one comparison statement to start out? I'll post it. John, can you give me a comparison statement that compares our 2 graphs?
Peanut butter has 11, and the peanut butter for Class B only has 8.
Okay. So, which class likes peanut butter sandwiches more? Which one would you say likes them more?
Class A.
Likes peanut butter? Sandwiches. And notice how I have a capital letter and I'm writing a full sentence. More than class B. Okay. Now, I want you to use your paper and give me 2 more sentences that compare the two. Okay? And while you're doing that, I'll come around and we'll talk about it, okay? What are you thinking? Sounds good to me. You're on the right track. Go ahead. What are you thinking? So class A likes tuna sandwiches less than class B, right? How do you know that? Using these 2 graphs, how do you know that class A likes tuna sandwiches less? I like that. So 1 more student in class B likes tuna sandwiches than in class A, right? Good job. I'm hearing a lot of more than. Can anybody think of a sentence and put it in there for less than? Think of one that uses less than. I'll be right with you, okay? Yes, it is. Good job. Oh, they do, right? How do you know that? What would be another way to say that? Class A. Same. I like that one. Equal and the same. Great. Good job. Give me more. Which class? Right? Make sure you tell me which class you're talking about.
There.
If you have 2, that's okay. You got it? Class A likes cheese sandwiches. How many students do they have? And how many students do they have like cheese? Good job. That's good. How much more? How many more students in class? What you have is right. I like what you have. But how many more students like peanut butter in class A than like peanut butter in class B? Since you're already done, so you can figure that out. Yeah, you did the opposites, right? I like that. You did both of them. Class A likes more, and class B likes less. Okay, I like what I'm seeing, so we're gonna go on to the next part. It looks like everybody's got this down. Right below that, we see a frequency table. Can somebody tell me what's missing from that frequency table? Isabella, can you tell me what's missing? Tallies are missing from one side, right? And how do we figure out where we get the numbers of tallies? Jason?
How many more tallies
How do we, the tallies are missing, right?
Yeah.
Where do we find out how many tallies we put there?
We counted numbers that says on the number cards of the tally.
Well, right on the number column, right? So we put that many tallies. Go right ahead and fill in the tallies for me. Complete that frequency table. Got it? I see a lot of people already got it. You guys are getting really good at this. If you're done with that, go ahead and give me use the frequency table this time and give me another comparison. Just write it right below. Give me a comparison using, yeah, there's a little space in between the graph, and then just write it right down there. If you already have everything tallied, maybe a frequency table helps you compare better, right? Maybe you see something now you didn't see in the bar graph. Give me a comparison statement. Right down. Yeah, just one for now. When you're done, go ahead and put your pencils down so I can see that you're done. Just like you did up here. Do one more down here, but use this to help you compare, okay? Look at the two graphs. What do you notice? Tell me what you notice. Okay, so that's what we put up here. What else do you notice when you look at this graph?
There's more tuna and less tuna.
That's a comparison. You just made a comparison right there. Yeah. So will you write that down about that tuna for me? I like that one. There's more tuna in Class B, right? You can write it up here if you want.
Well, what do I do with this?
No, we're not using that right now, okay?
Then why is it there?
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe we'll use it at centers, okay? You work on that tuna comparison sentence for me. If you're done writing your comparison sentence, show it to your face partner. Tell them what you compared.
Class B likes tuna sandwiches smaller than Class A and Class B both like sandwiches. Class A likes less votes.
Share it. You guys can read it to each other. Read your own to each other.
So we are done by saying quietly. I'm going to call you down by teams. Team 1, I like the way you're saying quietly. Come join me on the floor. Jason, you can finish and then come when you're ready, okay? He's working very hard, very quietly. Team 2. Team 3. And Team 4. Pay close attention because we'll probably be using tables to compare during centers today, and you'll be on your own and in groups. So I want to make sure you understand this, okay? These are our vocabulary that we've heard before. We know what a table is and we know what a bar graph is. We made both of those last week.
How can you make and use graphs to draw conclusions? Think about this question during the lesson.
We thought about that, didn't we? We shared it with our shoulder partners.
The table shows data about the favorite hobbies of 2 grade 3 classes. Look at this table. What does the table show?
Think about a comparison in your head right now. Use this table up here. Think about a comparison. And just like we did last week, take that answer that you have in your head, blow it in your hand, and hold it there.
The table shows the favorite hobbies of 2 classes. Which class has more students that prefer drawing, reading?
Okay. Which class has more students that prefer drawing? How about reading? Can you figure that out by looking at the favorite hobbies chart? Give me a thumbs up if you can figure that out. If you figured that out and you got that. Okay, go ahead. Blow that answer into your hand. Now probably give it to us.
Class A has more students that prefer drawing, and Class B has more students that prefer reading.
Okay, let your answers go. Give me a thumbs up if you got that. And Heidi, tell me, how many people prefer rock collecting in Class A? And how many people prefer rock collecting in Class B? So can you make a comparison about rock collecting?
Class A have the same favorite hobbies of rock collecting.
Okay.
How can you compare the hobbies of the 2 classes? Let's find out. You You can easily compare the hobbies of the two classes by making a bar graph for each class using the information in the table. Show both Class A and Class B as a bar graph with the information from the table.
Now what's that called where they put favorite hobbies of Class A and favorite hobbies of Class B? Sierra? The label or the title, right? And it's really important you look at that title.
Now enter the tally number for each class hobby by drawing a bar to represent each number. Draw the bars to represent model building, drawing, rock collecting, and reading. What does each grid line on the graphs represent?
Now you guys have drawn bar graphs before, right? So when you draw the grid line, what does each grid line represent? Okay? 2. They did it by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And I saw a lot of you were going around today that they did yours by 2s as well with the sandwiches, right? And I saw a lot of you filling in the numbers in between to help you.
Each grid line on the bar graphs represents 2 students.
Very good.
From
2
the
students.
graph, how do you know which is the favorite hobby in each class?
Okay, look at those graphs. What's the favorite hobby of Class A? Yeah, think of the answer. When you have it, blow it in your hand. What's the favorite hobby of Class A? Blow Class B's favorite hobby in your other hand, so you can have both of them and you can compare them.
The bar graphs show that the favorite hobby in each class is the hobby that has the longest bar in the graph for that class. How do you compare the number? You compare the number of students in each class who like one of the hobbies by comparing the length of the bar
Is that what you
for
guys
that
did when
hobby
you tried
in
to
one
find
graph
out
to the length of
who
the
liked
bar
what
in the
best?
other graph. Now read the graphs and make comparisons to solve questions and draw conclusions.
And that's what we were doing. We were making comparisons about the graph.
Which class likes model building more?
Which class likes model building more? Dana. What was that? Class B. How many people like model building in Class B? And how many people like model building in Class A? So how did you know that Class B likes model building more than A? Five is 2 more students than Class A's 3 students.
More students in Class B like model building than in Class A. What does the bar graph show about rock collecting for each class?
And we did that already. Heidi told us that the same amount of people in Class A like rock collecting as in Class B.
The bar graph shows that the same number of students in each class like rock collecting. You have
Okay.
learned how to make and use a bar graph to draw conclusions.
Okay. I'd like Team 1 to go back to their seats, please. Team 2. Team 3. And Team 4. Okay, do me a favor, stack your papers neatly in the center of the table. 4 did that very quietly. Okay. Thank you for the way you listened and participated in my lesson. Everybody did very good, and I think you guys have got this down. Clear off your desk and show Miss LaMotta you're ready for the next part.